Okay, our topic is about the overpopulation. Human overpopulation occurs if the number of people in a group exceeds the carrying capacity of the region occupied by the group. The term often refers to the relationship between the entire human population and its environment, the Earth, or to small geographic areas such as countries. Overpopulations can result from an increase in births, a decline in mortality rates, an increase in immigrations, or an unsustainable biome and the depletions of resources. It's possible for every sparsely populated areas to be overpopulated if the area has a meager or non-existent capabilities to sustain life. Overpopulation remains the leading driver of hungers, desertification, species depletion, and a range of social maladies across the planet. The cause of overpopulation: decline in the death rate. At the root of overpopulation is the difference between the overall birth rate and death rate in populations. If the number of children born each year equals the number of adults that die, then the populations will stabilize. Talking about overpopulation shows that while there are many factors that can increase the death rate for short periods of time, the ones that increase the birth rate to do so over a long period of time. The discovery of agriculture by our ancestors could be considered as one factor that provides them with the ability to sustain their nutrition without hunting. This created the first imbalance between the two rates. In the past, infant and childhood death and short lifespans used to limit population growth. In today's world, thanks to improved nutrition, sanitations, and medical care, more babies survive their first few years of life. The combinations of continuing high birth rate and a low death rate is creating a rapid population increase in many countries in Asia, Latin America, and Africa, and people generally live longer. Following this came the Industrial Revolution. Technological advancement was perhaps the biggest reason why the balance has been permanently disturbed. Science was able to produce better means of producing food, which which allowed families to feed more mouths. Medical science made many discoveries thanks to which they were able to defeat a whole range of diseases. Illnesses that had claimed thousands of lives till now were cured because the invention of vaccines. Combine the increasing food supply with fewer means of mortality tipped the balance and become the starting point of overpopulation. However, when talking about overpopulation, we should understand that there is psychological component as well. For thousands of years, a very small part of the population had enough money to live in comfort. The rest faced poverty and would give birth to large families to make up for the high infant mortality rate. Families that have been through poverty, natural disasters, or are simply in need of more hands to work are major factors for overpopulations. As compared to earlier times, most of these extra children survive and consume resources that are not sufficient in nature. In my countries, especially the rural areas, most families choose to have more children to ensure security for their old age. Each child is born with different missions. For instance, the smartest one would be responsible for studying and getting a good jobs for earning money. The older ones sometimes have to go out help their parents working the farm, giving up opportunity to be educated. That's cruel for children since they should have equal destiny, but they can't since they are poor. Technological advancement in fertility treatment. With latest technological advancement and more discoveries in medical science, it has become possible for a couple who are unable to conceive to undergo fertility treatment methods and have their own babies. Today, there are effective medicines which can increase the chance of conceptions and lead to risk in birth rate. Moreover, due to modern techniques, pregnancies today are far more safer. Immigration. Many people prefers to move to developed countries like US, UK, Canada, and Australia, where best facilities are available in terms of medical, education, security, and employment. The end result is that those people settle over there, and those places become overcrowded. This difference between the number of people who are leaving the country and the number of the people who enters narrows down, which leads to more demands for food, clothes, energy, and homes. This gives rise to a shortage of resource. Though the overall populations remain the same, it just affects the density of population, making that place simply overcrowded. Lack of family planning. Most developing nations have large number of people who are illiterate, live below the poverty lines, and have little or no knowledge about family planning. Get their children married at an early age, increase the chance of producing more kids. Those people are unable to understand the harmful effects of overpopulation, and lack of ignorance prompts them to avoid family planning measures.
Effects of overpopulation. Depletion of natural resources. The effects of overpopulation are quite severe. The first of these is the depletion of resources. The earth can only produce a limited amount of water and food, which is falling short of the current needs. Most of the environmental damage being seen in the last 50-odd years is because of the growing number of people on the planet. They are cutting down forests, hunting wildlife in a reckless manner, causing pollution, and creating a host of problems. Those engaged in talking about overpopulation have noticed that acts of violence and aggression outside of war zones have increased tremendously while competing for resources. Degradation of environment. With the overuse of coal, oil, and natural gas, it has started producing some serious effects on our environment. Rise in the number of vehicles and industries have badly affected the quality of air. Rise in amount of CO2 emissions leads to global warming. Melting of polar ice caps, changing climate patterns, rise in sea level are a few of the consequences that we might have to face due to environmental pollution. High cost of living. As difference between demand and supply continues to expand due to overpopulation, it raises the price of various commodities including food, shelter, and health care. This means that people have to pay more to survive and feed their families. Life is more expensive now. 7 billion people is a lot of people, no doubt about it. Is it too many? The neo-Malthusian view seems reasonable, especially when fortified by such statistics as these. An estimated 680 million chronically hungry people. As population and hunger increase in the developing world, water availability for irrigation is declining. The FAO estimates that by 2020, 135 million people may lose their land as a result of soil degradation. Of the 20 countries that rank highest on the 2011 Failing States Index, all but one have a total fertility rate of 3.5 or higher. Between 1999 and 2011, the world's population increased by 1 billion. Action plans and strategies can be developed to increase public understanding of how rapid pollution growth limits changes for meeting basic needs. The spirit of open communication and empowerment of individual women and men will be key to a successful solution to many population problems. Collective vision about healthcare, family planning, and women's education at the community level builds a basis for action. The creation of action plans helps to meet challenges to find cooperative solutions. Free and equal access to healthcare, family planning, and education are desirable in their own right and will also help reduce unwanted fertility. Solutions to overpopulation. Better education. One of the first measures is to implement policies reflecting social change. Educating the masses helps them understand the need to have one or two children at the most. Families that are facing a hard time and choose to have 4 or 5 children should be discouraged. Family planning and efficient birth control can help in women making their own reproductive choices. Open dialogue on abortion and voluntary sterilization should be seen when talking about overpopulation. Making people aware of family planning. As population of this world is growing at a rapid pace, raising awareness among people regarding family planning and letting them know about serious after effects of overpopulation can help curb population growth. One of the best ways is to let them know about various safe-sex techniques and contraceptive methods available to avoid any unwanted pregnancy. Tax benefits for concessions. Government of various countries might have to come up with various policies related to tax exemptions to curb overpopulation. One of them might be to waive a certain part of income tax or lowering rates of income tax for those married couples who have single or 2 children. As we humans are more inclined towards money, this may produce some positive results. Knowledge of sex education. Imparting sex education to young kids at elementary level should be a must. Most parents feel shy in discussing such things with their kids, which result in their children going out and look out for such information on the internet or discuss it with their peers. Most of the information is incomplete, which results in sexually active teenagers unaware of contraceptives and embarrassed to seek information about them. It is therefore important for parents and teachers to shed their own inhibitions and make their kids or students aware of valid sex education.